I think if this Zeekr 70s comes to Denmark and whatever, all the other premium brands should be afraid of. I don't know.
Yeah, I think definitely with the price is very, very strong.
Yeah.
And I think it's when you see of what the competitors offering, it's hard to not see why not you choose this one. It feels quite sporty and it's I mean, we are driving the Privilege, which is the fast one with over 600 horsepower, which is mind blowing nowadays. Like that's what you expected back in the day when what's called ML from Mercedes, and now you get this in what seems to be a more civilized vehicle.
Yeah, but also if I think about the optional included and also the construction quality, if I think about the new Audi Q6, for example, the e-tron one,
Yeah,
the quality is so bad inside with the hard plastics, and this comes in the I don't think half the price, but 200,000 crowns below,
yeah.
and or cheaper, and it's much better, I guess. So yes, it's quite nice.
I haven't driven the Audi though, but I whenever I compare it to from its also from China, it's the Warrior 3, which this still way more premium than the Warrior 3, and the Warrior 3 I believe is actually more expensive.
Yeah,
Which is quite crazy. We have to say we are in Portugal and we are driving the new Zeekr 7X.
yeah,
And we are driving the big one, the Privilege with the big battery on 100 kilowatts.
and up to 545 kilometers range on top. That's the standard, which is quite nice actually.
Yeah.
And also it charges very fast because in this version it's 16 minutes for with a 800-volt system, and there's also a version with a 75 kilowatt hours battery that charging 11 minutes,
Yeah.
and 10 to 80% is
And
quite
that's
fast.
what makes me like really like this car is how fast is the charge. Because one thing is fast and comfortable, and I always say like most electric cars are quite comfortable when you drive them in city driving. Um, but when it comes to charging, that's like uh, waiting for that, and that's why it's so much easier when you finally have a car that's like so quick to charge.
It's comparable to a diesel actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the same time of a diesel car, but
No, but
it's
we're getting that. I mean, I remember when the early couple of years ago when there was fast to wait 30 minutes. That was a fast charging. It was still 30 minutes. It's a long time if you have to charge a couple of times doing long distance driving. Where 11 minutes, like now you can't really do anything. You can't even go to the gas station to
no,
buy
actually.
anything because it goes like this. You have to say, I don't think it's always gonna be knowing like 11 minutes because it's the circumstances with the charger network.
Yeah, we can say it's up to 11 minutes in the best
Yeah,
conditions.
best condition.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and also it's quite hard still in Europe to find a charger with up to 360 kilowatts. And because this car supports until 420 kilowatts of charges, right? Max.
Yeah,
And we don't have any charger like that in Europe at the moment. So it's kind of it is kind of interesting to see what Chinese are doing.
yeah.
And this reminds us of the topic of the day. So welcome to What Happened to the Car World podcast. The first podcast from NordiskBil. I'm Robin. You are?
Christian, there's also a lot of scenery happening in here in Portugal, and I keep get distracted. You can't see the Euros, but
Yeah.
it's a beautiful country. But yeah, we Nordic Speed, and we trying to experiment with a podcast.
We started talking about Zeekr to make some differences between Chinese brand, also European Chinese brand, because Zeekr is developed in Sweden actually,
Mm.
and the rest of the European brand. So we wanted to talk about also Ford today because I think it's maybe quite sad
Yeah.
seeing what all happens to Ford at the moment. So we also recently tested the Capri, the new one,
Yeah, we did.
actually a Volkswagen. uh,
But it's mentioned the Capri. If I still feel like it at least have some 4 DNA. It does not drive like the Volkswagen
yeah,
ID.5.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
it's not boring to drive.
No, it's not
Actually.
boring, but the the finish, the interior, it's like it's we do miss the old days with the Ford Fiesta and Focus and small engine manual gear.
Yeah, and also
Little
think
like
about Focus Fiesta, also even Mondeo, compared to Capri, there's nothing to do with that. So
no,
it's
no,
totally
nothing.
different.
When we drove, I was looking at the Capri. I was like, I can't really see anything that's remote as resembling the original Capri, the sports car from the 70s where it was
Mm.
from. The only thing I noticed was apparently the steering wheel has this metal part in the middle, which is a throwback to the original Capri, but else I could not see any resemblance by other than in
Only a coupe SUV based on one of the worst platforms in the world, which is the Volkswagen MEB platform. I don't really like that platform. It's so inefficient. Still some problems, but I don't understand actually for strategy in Europe because, for example, the CEO Jim Rowan say they want to stop Fiesta and Focus because he considers boring cars, and maybe Rowan, Rowan is from Volvo, Jim Fallon actually. He said it was boring cars, but maybe Fallon I've never tested a Focus or a Fiesta because they are the opposite of our boring cars.
They are definitely opposite. Not a car to mention. Like I had a couple. Last year I drove ran a Clio for a week, and I miss that. They're so fun to drive. Actually, these small car, turbo engine, manual gear doesn't weigh that much. Doesn't have that electric where you just because when you drive electric, you just the car drives you. Sometimes, which it is nice for most people, but sometimes you just miss that.
The sound also. Also the feeling to change the gear, for example. If you think about Ford, if you think about manual gear, because Ford is very good with manual gears. And also if I think about Fiesta, I think about the Fiesta ST line or even the ST. You could get a really fast car, or like not so fast car, but a sporty car.
A frugal car, as we do in the bridge would say.
For a good price. I remember in euros was 25,000 euros, which is I don't know, probably Danish crown.
I don't remember the price either, but
but was a really good car and also sporty and also fun, very young car. And now they want to focus on their icons. And if they consider the new Capri an icon, I think is an insult to the old Capri actually. So they can consider maybe of course the Mustang an icon or the Bronco, but how many they can sell in Europe of that car?
To what kind of cars do Ford have left at the moment? Like they have the new Puma Gen.
So the Puma Gen E, they have the Puma hybrid version, and also they have the Kuga in all the variants, plug-in hybrid, and the mild hybrid. They stock only the diesel version. And also they have all the Ford Pro range, so the Transit and the Trans Custom and whatever. So, but they stopped the cars they sold most, so the Focus and Fiesta and even the Mondeo, which was a really D-segment car, a really good D-segment car.
It also was. Then, I mean, I remember the Mondeo used to be like the car to get in this class because it was like mix of everything. It was comfortable. It was sporty to drive. It was fun. But those days are gone, and it's so weird. And we still have the Ford Kuga as one of the left Fords from with a petrol or ice engine. Which I like the Kuga. It's comfortable, but it's not like what I see Ford as what I miss from Ford.
No, the Kuga is the kind of not so boring, but it's not like the Fiesta.
No, it's not.
And yes, and also remember, as I mentioned before, my father had 3 versions of the Mondeo. It was a really nice car as a family car, but also with a sporty DNA. It was really nice. And the problem of Ford's strategy in Europe is differently from the other brands in Europe that are struggles because they can't sell really good electric cars at the moment. Ford chose to have a lower percentage in market share in Europe. So they wanted to focus on more expensive cars, and that means to have minor volume in terms of sales. And it's quite sad, as I mentioned before, because Ford was considered a really good generalist brand, well crafted, and also with a good driving experience. And it's quite sad. They have at the moment they are below Hyundai and Kia in terms of percentage. They have in Europe they sell under 4% of the market share in Europe. It's quite not the best, actually. I don't know.
I know I am not. I'm not in very much into the percent of them, but I someone who just loves the cars, to drive cars. I just miss Ford. I think a lot of people who definitely into cars miss Fiestas in general. Like it was it was such a favorable car in the class. And the class is kind of disappearing. What we have left is we have Suzuki Swift. We have
and not even more the sport version because the new generation hasn't the sport version.
Exactly. When I did my review of the Clio, I said it was the sportiest car in the class because this one of the only one that's left, and between what is left, because we have the Dacia Sandero, and what else is left? Suzuki Swift, Mitsubishi Colt, if you want to go that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a new times, and we have to get used to it, I guess. But
Yes, I remember the early 2000, for example, we couldn't get, for example, all the sporty version of the Clio RS and
yeah,
Focus ST, and there was also the Abarth Grande Punto from Fiat, which was a really nice car actually. If you think about now at the moment, if you want to get a hot edge for maybe a Golf GTE or a Golf R, you have to spend a lot of money to get. And yes, I don't know, new times, and maybe of course, they have to focus on the electric vehicles, and the petrol version are not so interesting because if you think about the pure tech versions of Stellantis group, it's not so quite.
oh, no.
But yeah, I don't know.
It is interesting how like this engine is quite notorious for being very unreliable. We're speaking about the PureTech, and it's like been swapped. It's been pushed into all these Stellantis cars.
Yes, and it's very interesting because Stellantis could choose between the PureTech and the Firefly from Fiat, or
Firefly,
and they choose the PureTech.
yeah.
So I don't know, maybe not the best choice, but
Yeah.
we know good that Stellantis didn't choose well in the last series.
Oh, we also have some there's been happened some news recently in the car world. Soon they're gonna reveal the new score, the L-Rock RS.
Yep.
But with special performance car, when it comes to electricity, it's just not the same because every electric car is fast to begin with.
Yeah, even this one.
Even this one. And I usually see it as if you get the performance version of a car that's electric, just see it as quicker to accelerate but worse range. I think when we drove we had a Kia EV6 GT.
Yeah.
Which was
October.
last October, which was faster, quite fast car and sporty. But I would never choose it because the range was so bad.
Yeah.
And if you get the next level down, I can't remember how fast it was. That's fast enough.
Yeah, maybe I think they should do like Hyundai, for example, with the Ioniq 5F. This is a real sporty electric car because Hyundai work a lot on the setup in general, and also Hyundai replaced the fake manual gear. It's very impressive updated. You can find our review on NordiskBil channel on YouTube if you want. And that is a really electric sport car, different from the rest of the Hyundai Ioniq 5 range. But if you think about the EV6 GT or the L-Rock RS or the ID3 GTE, for example, GTX or whatever they call that, it's not so different from the rest. So as we say, even that this car is not a sporty car officially, but we have an acceleration of 3.8 seconds from 0 to 100. So it's actually a really fast car.
But yeah, let's see how this L-Rock, and it's going to be the first performance car in this class, I believe. I can't really remember there's anything else with that class.
First performance cars in that kind of cars?
Yeah, size-wise.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. Omoda, the Chinese Cherry Group car from it's from Cherry Group, I think. Omoda.
That is only a new brand from Cherry, yes.
Yeah, well, they revealed the new hybrid, which is called what's it called?
Super hybrid system.
I think it's called 09. I think
The 9, yeah, yes, that's right.
yeah. It's a 1.5 liter. I think it was a turbo. It just been revealed a couple of minutes ago, and I already forgot of the spec sheet, but I think it's gonna be forgotten anyway. I feel like the Omoda was supposed to come to Denmark as well, which we still haven't seen, and we still don't know. It's been promised to come to Denmark for the last 2 years with the smaller E5 compact electric car.
Yeah, which is actually really bad.
Yeah, and I think if it's ever gonna come now, it's gonna be a problem for them because so much has happened since. But that's what's going on. The electric cars is just so fast. Something new always comes out.
Yeah, but also together with Omoda, they're gonna reveal the EM brand from Zeekr Group, so the premium brand from MG Motor. So they come to Europe by the end of the year. That's quite interesting too, because maybe it'll be the first brand to use a solid-state batteries instead for the lithium one. So it's quite interesting to see what happened with them.
Another brand Chinese car coming to Denmark is what's called Excellentis, I think, or something like that, and it's
Leap Motor? No.
No, it's not Lee Motors.
Deepal?
Deepal, yeah.
Yeah, it's from Chang'an.
Chang'an, yeah. And there's a lot of Chinese cars coming out suddenly.
No.
What for the Western world, what we haven't really seen anything new at the moment that's coming out. We know there's a Volkswagen coming. I feel it's gonna be real. The ID2 production car is gonna be revealed later this year.
Yeah, but it won't come until middle of 26, I guess. So we have
But
to
that's
wait.
the small one, ID1.
But also the ID2,
Also,
the ID1 comes in 27 actually. So we have to wait 2 years.
okay.
And the ID2 comes next year. Also, we have to wait the review of the new Twingo this year.
Yeah.
The new electric one. And the new Dacia Spring, which is a totally new car compared to the current one. They don't sell in them actually, the Spring.
So we, because the last one didn't do so well, even though it was at the time the cheapest electric car. But it's I think it's gonna be difficult for them to sell a car like that in Denmark.
Denmark.
It's not.
Yeah, but the new one is quite interesting because at the moment the Dacia Spring is only a Dongfeng project together with Renault. But the new one is 100% made in France together with the Twingo. And it could be quite interesting, especially at the moment we are in a moment in of the world where Europe is gonna be more patriotic, so that people want to buy European instead of
Yeah. And then we see a trend also, small cars, electric small cars, not started to finally rise. And we can talk about Nissan because they revealed the new Micra.
Micra based on the
Renault 5, and they also revealed the Nissan Leaf. Yeah, only design, but we kind of have an idea what kind of battery the Micra are definitely gonna have. Probably just share the same as the Renault 5.
Yeah, I suppose they will use the same setup of the Renault 5, so same motors and same batteries. Maybe they won't have the cheapest one, is only for Renault, but they have the 120 and 150 horsepower motors and the 52 kilowatt hours battery. So they should be the same.
You driven the Renault 5, I think.
Yes, I really love. One of my favorite cars of the year. Together with the Hyundai Inster is another interesting city car. With a good price also.
It's funny because my favorite car is the Alpine version, which I haven't driven, but I feel it's gonna be.
Oh, it's kind of nice also. Yeah, it's A290.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting. Honda, what's going on with Honda? Where's their car? Because we seen Mazda reveal the new Mazda
6E.
6E, which is based on a Chinese car, but there's a lot of Chinese Hondas made together with I can never remember the name.
Me too.
Yeah, but they have a lot of joint ventures with in mainland China.
Yeah.
It would be interesting for Honda to bring it up to Europe. They did that with the E was anyone the ENY1 or whatever.
Yeah, with the strange name.
Straight was supposed to be.
Hydro, actually.
Yeah, I drove that one. It was quite nice in quality wise, but it was quite boring car.
Also with a really high price.
With high price, yeah, high price and not very couldn't really go that far on charging. But they have this, I think it's called S7, which looks quite interesting, and I really look something that could be used in Europe. It's like it seems on pictures a big SUV kind of style. Saxo. So we have a Citroën Saxo or whatever.
Vive la France.
Yeah, Vive la France.
Also, it's quite disappear. They have a really good hybrid system with the CRV and the right.
Yeah, that's a great car. I know the Prelude is coming to Denmark. They promised.
The Prelude also in the rest of Europe.
Yeah. Which but another interesting thing happened is the what's called ZRV or CRV. It's been on the market for 2 years, but it's actually finally entering Denmark and that's because they finally got the price down, which is still expensive. I think it's under 380,000, which is a lot for what you get for your money.
Yeah.
I haven't driven it. We're gonna drive it. I'm told probably a couple of months now. When the press cars are available in Denmark.
Okay.
But yeah, Honda is the same with he kind of lost his essence.
Yeah, like Ford, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Civic used to be such an interesting car as well.
And it still is, actually. Yeah. The new Civic is maybe one of the interesting cars remain in Europe, because the rest is quite boring. Yes, but they lost the way. They lost their road, I mean. Like Ford.
Yeah.
But I think we are done with the first episode of our podcast. Yep. So let us know what you think about the Ford strategy and what you think about in general about the new car world. And we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.